Thank you so much for joining me today for this lovely restorative practice. I am practicing live today with a group from Breast Friends in Tigard, Oregon. If you are interested in getting more information or finding some support from their organization, their website is linked below in the description box. This is the second day of 26 Fridays that we will be practicing together. So I am calling this 26 Days of Healing Day 2. So practicing from your chair or from the floor or seated to a pillow or a blanket, just find yourself a comfortable position that is sustainable for you and feels good in your body, where you can have a nice tall spine. And if it feels comfortable for you, I encourage you to close your eyes so that you can really welcome yourself into your body. And just let go of all the visible distractions around you. Maybe you hear some noises in your neighborhood or on the other side of this recording in my neighborhood. Just let them kind of come and go out of your experience as you welcome yourself into your body. Closing your eyes, you might just notice the first sensation that comes into your awareness. Maybe it is feeling your hands resting in your lap. Maybe it is feeling your legs and your sit bones on the support that you're sitting on. Maybe it's your breath. Whatever it is that becomes apparent in your physical experience, just notice with curiosity, giving yourself your full attention. And then kind of notice how you're sitting. Are you centered? Are you leaning a little forward or a little back, a little left or right? And just notice any imbalances that you have and see if maybe you might make some little adjustments to just adjust yourself until you can come to a point where you can really honor stillness in your body. And then if you're not already, invite yourself to become aware of your breath. The breath is so powerful because it connects our inner world to the outer world. And it is also the only autonomic process of our nervous system that we have any control over. The heartbeat, the heart rate, the metabolism, circadian rhythm, that's all pretty much where it is, unless you make gradual steps to adjust those things, but we can immediately adjust the breath. And if you like, you might begin to soften your breath, slow it down, let it deepen. And that is your communication to your nervous system that it is safe to practice yoga, that it is safe for your body to be soft and relaxed, which releases tension from your muscles and your joints so that you can really get not just the physical benefits of the practice, but the emotional benefits as well. And then notice where you feel your breath. Is it in your chest, your belly, somewhere in between?
Excuse me, Christine.
Yes.
Amy said that she just called. She's in the waiting room to come back on.
Oh, thank
Must
you
have
so
come
much
back
for
on
letting me
herself.
know.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just admit, oh, wonderful. I did not see that pop up. I appreciate the help. So back to your breath, back to stillness. Let's go ahead and have 3 more of those breaths, but this time let's inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, exhale out the mouth with a big sigh, just like this. Do that a couple more times. And then come back to breathing in and out of your nose as much as you're able. And then from your tall seat, let's begin to find some gentle movement. So just start to make some little circles with your nose. Just getting some gentle movement in your neck. Taking it really slow and just exploring, listening. Maybe you hear some interesting sounds as you move, and you might even let your circles get a little bigger. And then go ahead and reverse those circles. You might start small again, or you might start from where you are and let the circles get smaller as you continue to rotate. And then we'll bring the nose back to center. And then we're gonna do a little chicken movement with the head. So draw your shoulder blades down your back body and jut your chin forward like you're a chicken. And then draw your chin back as if you're trying to make a bunch of double chins. So forward and back, just sliding the skull, working out all those kinks from all the devices many of us use during the day. And then we'll come back to neutral. Take your gaze to the right, over your right shoulder. And then bring your gaze back to center and then over the left shoulder. Then we'll come back to center. And when you're ready, gently take your right ear towards your right shoulder. And just let your head be heavy. Let your left shoulder be really soft and relaxed. And if you like, you might reach your left arm out any amount. And just notice how that changes things for you. You could turn your palm forward and back, or lift your arm higher and lower. Or it might feel nice to turn the back of your hand behind you, bend your left elbow, and bring the back of your left hand to your low back, or maybe even all the way over to your right hip if you have the space. And just let your left shoulder be soft. Let your head hang heavy. And let's just take a couple more soft breaths here. And then when you're ready, release your left arm if you have it bound behind you, and bring your right palm to your right cheek. And gently invite your head back to the top of your spine. And when you're ready, you can release the hand from the cheek and just notice how you feel. Notice how that simple touch of your hand to your own cheek feels. And then very gently, we'll take the left ear towards the left shoulder. Starting here, not moving the arm just yet, just getting your neck used to this new posture for a moment. And then as you're ready, maybe adding on, reaching those right fingertips out. Perhaps playing with the level of the arm. rotating it forward and back. Just noticing what you notice in the right shoulder, the right side of your neck. And then if it feels good, you could bring the back of the right hand behind you to your low back or somewhere thereabouts. And just let that right shoulder be really heavy, but still keep a lift in the heart. Notice if you've started to round forward and see if you can keep that integrity in your nice strong spine here. And let's take a couple soft breaths here. Just let your head be heavy. Notice where you feel your breath expanding as you inhale. Notice where you feel yourself softening as you exhale. And then release the right hand. If you have it behind you, bring your left hand to your left cheek. And with all the tenderness you can muster, bring your head back to the top of your spine. Release that left hand, and again, take the gaze over the right shoulder, and then over the left shoulder. And just check in with how your neck feels now. When you're ready, let's just start to make some little loops with the shoulders, rolling them up and down and back. And then maybe one shoulder at a time. And then to make it really awkward and to support the neuroplasticity in our brains, we'll switch the directions. So that's probably going to feel weird, this sort of leading with the non-dominant shoulder. And then once again, let's loop both shoulders up and down and back a couple of times. And the next time they come down, just anchor them down the back body, lift your heart, tuck your chin gently, rest your palms to your thighs. And then inhale to look up towards the sky and gently arch your spine. And as you exhale, round your spine, bring your chin towards your chest and draw the belly button back. Inhale, gentle seated cow posture, looking up any amount. And exhale, rounding forward for your gentle seated cat posture. If you like, you can keep your hands anchored to your body, or you might find some gentle movement there, reaching your hands forward as you round back into cat, and maybe opening them up as you look up into cow. And you might be moving your hands low, or maybe you reach them up a little bit higher. Just feeling into your body what feels good in your head, your neck, your shoulders, your armpits, your upper spine. Just staying in integrity with your needs, your body today. One more time, let's all inhale together. And then as you exhale, come back to your tall spine and bring one hand and then the other to your heart. And then we're just gonna switch the cross of the legs if you're sitting on the floor in a cross-legged posture. If you haven't already, if you're in a chair, you can just hang out where you are. We're gonna bring those hands down to the lap again, and this time we're gonna make some spirals with the spine. So you might begin to lean to one side and then round forward, lean to the opposite side, and then round back. And you could keep it really tall in the spine and keep your circles really subtle. Or maybe you kind of take that cow posture, leading with the heart as you come forward, and round into that cat spine as you lean back. You could get your head, your neck, your shoulders as involved as feels good to you. And the next time you feel ready, reverse the rotations. Just evening things out. I didn't count how many circles we made on the first side, so just balance things out to where it feels good in your body. I don't do a lot of counting when I'm talking, unfortunately, so I don't keep track too much. Just feel what feels good in your body. And as you're ready, we'll come back to that nice tall seat. Seated in a chair or seated on the floor, we're gonna have the feet on the ground, the knees a little bit wider. Take your hands back behind the hips to support you, and we're just gonna windshield wiper the knees gently from side to side. And then one final thing here, let's bring the soles of the feet together, coming into butterfly pose. The yoga Sanskrit word for that is Baddha Konasana, or bound angle posture. But I like the butterfly pose. Butterflies are so fragile and so tiny. Their brains are like microscopic, but they travel thousands of miles every year as they migrate, the monarch butterflies specifically. So maybe you flap your little butterfly wings, or maybe you lean right and soar to the right and lean left and bank left, rocking from side to side. And when you've come back to center, find stillness once again. And then we'll bring those knees back together and we'll come onto all fours, or if you're in a chair, be facing a chair or a table. So all fours looks like this, with the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. If you're in a chair, you're just sitting in your chair with your hands on the chair in front of you or on a tabletop, an actual tabletop. Let's find some more rounds of those cat and cows here, dropping the belly, drawing the heart forward as you inhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest as you exhale. And as you inhale into cow, you could tuck your toes and bend your elbows, open up across your throat. Tops of the feet on the mat, crown of the head comes down towards the ground as you round up into cat. And just make this organic. Maybe you move a little side to side. Maybe make some little barrel rolls. Just feeling into your body what feels really good today. And then we'll all tuck those toes under and send the hips back towards the heels. If you're seated, just come up onto your toes and press the heels down towards the ground. If that little pinky toe doesn't want to come along for the ride, you might reach back with your fingers and invite it to join the party, opening up the bottoms of your feet. Our toes are one of the things that we commonly don't exercise, that and our lungs. So this is a great practice for both of those things. And then if you're down on the floor, when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands back towards your knees and pick them up towards the sky, coming into a low squat. You could keep your feet parallel here, or maybe you take them out as wide as your mat and rock a little bit from side to side. Maybe the heels come to the ground, maybe they don't. A little more spacious would be to have the toes out and the heels in. If you have a yoga block here, you could bring it in to sit on here and come into yogi squat, malasana. If you don't have a block, you could just bring your elbows to your inner thighs. Find that nice tall spine here. Press down towards the earth with the heels. Even if they don't touch, we just want to draw them down towards the ground. Couple breaths right here, lifting the heart, tucking the chin, decompressing the spine here. If you're seated in a chair, just take your feet out or your knees out a little wide and bow forward and bring your inner elbows to the inner thighs. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then we'll bring the fingertips down to the ground, begin to straighten the legs, send the hips up towards the sky. Heel toe your feet back underneath your hips. Bend your knees generously and find ragdoll posture. You can have your arms hanging like wet noodles, or maybe you cradle your elbows into your palms and frame your face. Let your head be really heavy here. And take some nice big breaths. Feel your back body expand as you inhale. Feel your spine get longer and your head get heavier as you exhale. You might begin to straighten your legs a little more if that feels okay. And you could rock a little forward and back or side to side. One more big breath here. And then the next time you inhale, walk your hands up to the tops of the thighs and find a nice flat back here, halfway lift. Draw the tailbone away from the base of the skull. Exhale, bow forward. And then we'll press into the feet. Inhale, reach the arms down, around, and up, reaching either up to the sky or bringing the hands directly to the heart. And at this point, you can be sitting in your chair in seated mountain pose, or you can join us standing and use the chair for balance. And so I'm going to bring my chair over. If you don't have one handy and you want a little extra support for balance, you might be standing next to a couch or a wall. We're just going to find our Tadasana, hands at heart. Feel your feet underneath your hips. Feel them grounded on the floor underneath you. Make sure your knees are not locked, but your legs are relatively straight. Feel your hips over your knees, your heart over your hips, your head over your heart. And then we'll release the hands, let your palms shine forward. Gentle tuck of that chin, kind of like we did at the beginning, where you draw the base of the skull back and up. Just feeling yourself in your strength, in your mountain posture, balanced. Noticing once again if you're off kilter anywhere and seeing if making any adjustments might help you to feel more grounded and more balanced and more stable here. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the hands to the heart again. Bring your feet together as close as possible. We're going to just peel the left foot from the ground. So the toes and the ball of the foot are still grounded here. We're going to do tree pose here. Forget what the Sanskrit word is for that. I'll have to look that up. Turn your left knee out to the left and anchor your left heel to the inside of your right shin. This is tree pose right here. We're opening up the left hip. We're hugging the right hip in. Feel your core engaged at the center. If you want to go a little higher, you could bring the bottom of your foot to the inside of your calf. Or maybe even with the aid of your left hand in the chair to the inside of the right thigh. And you could be holding on to the chair here for balance. You could keep your hands at your heart, or maybe your tree grows some branches. Maybe it's a cactus and you find cactus arms. Find something stable to look at that's not moving. That's your focus point, your focal point, your drishti. Maybe your tree has big, big branches, or maybe it's waving in the wind, or maybe it's a tall pine tree. Just feel that right foot grounded on the earth. Notice if the toes are trying to grip or curl, and see if you can find balance on the sole of that foot. Woo. If you fall out, just gently bring yourself back in. One more full breath wherever you are. And then we'll all bring the hands to the heart, turn the left knee forward, and come back to Tadasana. It might feel nice to tap the top of the standing foot down on the ground to stretch out the front of that shin. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And then we'll come back to our mountain pose with the hands at the heart. And this time we'll bring those feet as close together as feels comfortable in your body, and we'll peel the right foot up off the ground. And then when you're ready, turn that right knee out, anchor the right heel to the inside of the left thigh. Ground yourself here first. Find your focal point, something stationary that can help you keep your balance. Hug the left hip in, open up the right, and maybe bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, leg. Maybe the shin, maybe the thigh, just not the knee. And if you need to use your right hand or left hand to anchor that thigh, mine's not going to stay up on this side, so I'm going to keep mine low today. And you can always use your chair, wall, couch, whatever for balance. But press into that left foot, hug the core in. If you fall out, just gently bring yourself back. And once you feel steady and grounded, whew, I'm not nearly as balanced on this side. Maybe you grow some branches. Maybe you're a pine, maybe a cactus, maybe waving in the wind. And your balance on one side might be completely different than the other side, and it might be different tomorrow than it is today. One more breath wherever you are, and then we'll exhale, hands to heart. Right knee comes forward, and everything releases, and we'll just shake it out. Shake out the legs, shake out the arm, maybe tap the tops of the toes on the ground. And once you've got all that shaken out, come back to mountain pose. Your feet underneath your hips, your palms shining forward, your heart lifted, your neck long, extension of your spine. And then this time we're going to do dancer's pose, getting a nice stretch in the front of the hip flexors. So you might want to start with your hands with one of your hands on a chair or the wall for balance. We're just going to, and I'll turn to the side here so you can see, let's just bend that left knee. And maybe reach back with the left hand. Maybe this is as far as you get, or maybe you can reach back for that left foot or ankle, maybe even just your pant leg. Or if you have a yoga strap, you might use a yoga strap here. But turn your gaze and your heart forward. Press your foot into your hand or your strap, or simply be reaching for it, just pressing that left heel back. If you feel comfortable here and grounded in the right foot, you might release your right hand and reach it up towards the sky. Press into the right foot, hug your right hip in, feel yourself grounded, and find your breath. If you have a little more space, find that focal point and begin to find a gentle bend in your right knee as you tilt your body forward, coming into dancer's pose. Press the left foot into the hand. Notice the big stretch happening across the front of your left shoulder and into your pectoral muscle, your armpit, your shoulder blade, and anywhere else. When you're ready, we'll inhale back up to a tall spine. Exhale, release. Shake out anything you feel needs to get shaken out. And then we'll do the other side. So this time, we're just going to bend that right knee. Maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you reach the right hand back. Maybe you grab a hold of that right ankle, pant leg, foot, strap. You could also use like a little hand towel or something and sort of loop it around the ankle and hold on to the ends of the towel. A lot of improvising in home yoga practice. And just press that left or right foot back, open up the front of the shoulder. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you find a focal point and reach your left arm up towards the sky. Getting long through the spine, feeling grounded through your left foot. And if you like, gentle bend in your left knee to help you hinge forward. Coming into dancer's pose, opening up the front of that right thigh. Use your next inhale to come back to a tall spine. Exhale, release, another little shake out. And then we'll come back to that mountain pose with the hands at the heart. Just take a moment to notice your heartbeat, to notice your breath, to notice the vitality of your body, the energy that you feel flowing within yourself. And then as you're ready, let's release those hands, reach the arms out and up as high as feels okay for your shoulders. Inhale here. Bring your palms together, bend your knees generously, bow forward, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale your hands to the thighs or maybe the shins for a halfway lift. And then we'll exhale, plant the hands and come back down to your mat. If you're seated in a chair, come back to your seat. Otherwise, we're gonna come all the way down to the ground. Any way you wanna get there, whatever's safe for you. Once you get there, if you're seated, you'll hug your right knee in towards your heart. If you're on the floor, left foot on the ground, left knee points up towards the sky, and hug your right knee in towards your heart here. Rock your right knee gently from side to side, getting into that right hip socket. And then we'll bring the right ankle to the top of that left thigh for forward for figure 4. You can do this from your chair, and if this isn't accessible to have the ankle on the thigh, you could just cross it in front of your left ankle. If you have a little more space, you could pick up your left foot and interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. You might need to lift the head and shoulders to reach, but then make sure you can bring your head and shoulders back down to the ground here as you hug that left thigh in. Let's just take a few breaths here, stretching into that right hip. If this is hard on your knees, make sure you keep your feet flexed. Help protect them. And you could honor stillness here or maybe a little gentle rocking from side to side. One more inhale wherever you are. And then exhale to gently release, bringing both feet back down to the floor. And then we'll hug the left knee in towards the heart. Maybe rock it gently from side to side. And then turn the left knee out, bring the ankle to the top of the left thigh. Staying here for your figure 4 stretch or hugging the right knee in. If you interlace your fingers behind that right thigh, you might switch it up so that your non-dominant thumb is on top. It's another way we strengthen the neuroplasticity in our brains so that we can keep learning, keep growing, keep doing new things. And again, find some gentle rocking or find some stillness here. Couple more breaths right here. One more inhale. Let's exhale, lower the feet down to the ground. Whether you're seated or lying down, bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. Just honoring yourself and your practice today. Showing yourself some appreciation for doing something new and different with your afternoon. Or maybe for coming back to an old practice. Just reassuring yourself that you're showing up for yourself to take care of yourself today. And if you have the time, you could stay right here, maybe stretching out into full Shavasana, stretching arms and legs long. But if you are ready to get back to the rest of your day, go ahead and bring your palms together and bring them up to your forehead, that you would have kind and peaceful thoughts. Down towards your lips, that you would have kind and peaceful communication. And finally, to your heart, that you would have kind and loving intentions. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.